Welcome back to Key and Carry, where we key.
And we carry.
I'm Trey.
I'm Damon.
And on this episode, we'll be reviewing the 40-year-old version.
40-year-old version.
Not that Steve Carell movie that we all also love.
A film produced, starring, and directed by Radha blank. It depicts a down-on-her-luck playwright who feels that the only way she can salvage her voice is to become a rapper at the age of 40. Like, come on, 40 bars.
This is the spoiler-free portion of our review. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can listen to this part and we won't spill anything or spoil anything. But I thought the movie was really good. You know, shout out to me for picking three I want to say three good movies, but Bad Hair was all right. It's, shot well. The characters are relatable. It's really funny. A lot of situational humor. Radha blank is funny in her own
as
right.
hell.
Like, wherever she
funny
goes,
as fuck.
it's funny. Like,
yes,
I feel like she could make like the worst situation. Like she gonna make it funny.
Hands down. Hands down.
Funny and relatable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie is definitely born out of Spike Lee's influence, because it's very Spike Lee, from the shots to the black and white filter to the music to the little edits that he likes to do. The closest thing I could see was that Radha blank actually worked on She's Gotta Have It, the Netflix series, which was originally created and probably produced by Spike Lee. If you like Spike Lee, New York, rapping, awkward, funny humor, watch this movie.
Art, yeah, music in general. Yeah, this movie is definitely for you. Mm-hmm. Shit, even if you aren't into music, if you just like comedy or you like black movies, then I would definitely give this movie a watch. It's worth it. Like, this shit would have you like, it's gonna knock you out your goddamn, it's gonna knock you out your boy shorts. Like, that's how goddamn funny this movie
Shout out to Katie Got Bands.
It was funny as fuck.
Super relatable too.
It is.
Like, the whole watching the movie, I was just like, I mean, I've never really thought about being a rapper, but like, I relate to this story, like, because it's it's a story that anybody can kind of put themselves in.
Right.
So
yeah, I like the movie. The jokes, the humor, and the characters were this movie was just put together so well. This film was pretty empowering just because it's told from this perspective of a woman, which society would deem as like, oh, she's kind of like, she's old. She, how people, but the film is a comedy, but I felt that it tackled the issues of identity, doubt, and regret like really well. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like a handful of the characters kind of tied into Radha's plot with like trying to find out who you are and trying to like discover yourself or like becoming a new you. But overall, I thought the movie, I give it an A+.
Like, I usually try to think of like, who could I recommend this movie to? I would recommend it to anybody. My mama, the mailman, I don't know, the dude that works at the corner store that I go to a lot, like, and just everybody. Like, watch this movie because it's a good movie. It's a good movie to watch. I don't want to say like, oh, it's like super deep and like, oh my God, it's gonna win an Oscar, but it's it's a good movie to watch. It made me feel good watching it. So yeah, but we're itching out of the spoiler-free territory.
We literally crawling, inching our way into spoilers.
Yeah, so watch this movie. Honestly, I always think you should watch the movie before you watch a review like that has spoilers in it, just because it just hits better. But yeah, pause this, watch the movie, come back, and key with us about it. Let us know what you think. We're gonna get into spoilers. You gonna do the countdown, the Rhythm Nation countdown?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Edit. Do. No, this one.
Come on, Rhythm Nation.
Yes. No, I stand the girl, Miss Jackson. Yes. But before we get into our spoilers, can I just add that lenawaithe was listed as a producer for this film, and we just saw her make a cameo appearance in the film Bad Hair, which we just so happened to review. So if you're into horror movies or like black horror movies or movies that deal with hair or bad wigs, I would definitely go give the movie Bad Hair a watch.
Yes.
That's an okay movie, but
and
I would watch that
too.
movie. Yeah, I would watch the movie and watch our review and let us know how you felt about the film.
I know they're like, can you get to the review already? Like, damn, I get it. No, I just really want to talk about because what stood out to me in this movie was one, the funniness of it, the humor of it, and also just like the relatability of and just like the struggles of a artist, particularly a Black artist.
Okay.
So at first I just wanted to touch on like the funny moments, just because I thought there were so many that was really fun. So what were some moments, or what's one moment that stood out to you that was really funny?
The opening scene in the classroom, that was number one to me. Like the girl Elaine reading the zodiac signs, and then she got to the Gemini.
Yes,
came from my whole head, and I have done nothing but support this young lady. She said, "Mr. Gemini, you're too feminine. Can't rock with the nigga ass bigger than mine." I said.
She said, "Ass fat." Yeah, I know. like
make that ass roll like a 24. That's basically
right?
What she said.
It's so funny because she was going in on all the signs, and then I'm like, "Oh shit, what's she about to say about Tauruses?" But like, I feel like what she was doing was a very Taurus thing to do. Because we're chill, but we would definitely read you down. So like, I was like, oh, what's she gonna say about Tauruses? And then she was like, she said something about her being a Taurus, and I was like, yes, girl.
Like, you didn't have to come for me like that, Miss Mamas.
Do you encounter people that take it to heart though? Like, you're like, oh, I'm a Gemini, because I know Geminis get shit. Geminis and Sagittarius.
I swear, Geminis,
Scorpios. That's what it is.
And some Sagittarius, they get really bad reps. Like, I know, like my early 20s, whenever I would tell somebody like I'm a Gemini, they'd be like, oh shit, like, yeah. So it's just like, you don't believe that shit, do you? But
must be the truth. No, I'm just playing. But people are always like, you're a Taurus, you're lazy and you like food, and I'm like, okay, you didn't have to read me like that. Like, mind your business. Like, excuse you, we're just pointing out people's flaws now. Right. Like, what the hell? I'm like, damn, they let them cuss, but I'm like, it's an inner city school in New York, of course.
I'm like, it's New York. Like, they was in that bitch like with a potty mouth like an MFer.
They
like,
cussing, they got tattoos. I'm like, damn. Like, y'all got kids? What's going on?
Like, I'm like, these do not look like middle school, high school, or the middle school theater students I went to school with.
I think they were definitely high schoolers.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. But yeah, I thought that was a funny moment. That was really funny. And then she's reading the teacher. I'm like,
she was coming for Radha. Like, how the fuck is somebody gonna tell me, or somebody that hasn't had a hit in 10 years gonna tell me? She's like, well, she and Tyler Perry, and Radha was like, thank you for that.
Thank you for that. She's like, first of all, thanks. Like,
that's another reason why this movie was just so funny. Like, the humor, and then there's like subtle moments where it's little, but it makes a really big impact on the film. Like, I just thought that Radha's interactions with her students were like the highlight of this movie for me.
Yeah, it was a lot of like, there was a lot of situational humor where it's like just like stuff that would happen in your day-to-day life, where it's like, for real? And like, you make a joke out of it. One moment that stood out to me that was hilarious, when she was talking to Jay Whitman, and just the whole scene was hilarious, just because, again, Spike Lee-isms. Like, it gave me very satirical, like, white person. And that's one thing I want to note, that I feel like a lot of the characters in the movie were relatable besides the white people. And it worked. Like, it worked that they weren't as relatable. You know, like, I feel like they were kind of caricatures, but it still worked in the movie. Because it showed, like, you know, just how, like, I don't know how absurd like people think sometimes, I guess. But it was just funny, like him telling her, like, it didn't seem authentic to me. Like, I found wondering, did a black person write this? And I'm like, how would you know? Right, man? Like, what? You know the Black experience? And then him talking about his Harriet Tubman musical, which I would have choked him too, girl. I would have strangled. I'll take that charge. Yeah. I'll eat that charge.
Like, he had a weird obsession with like controlling like the Black narrative, and it's just like it happens all the time.
It was funny, but like I said, it was funny, but it also had meaning to it because it kind of does touch on the conversation of like Black art being filtered through white people, because a lot of white people do have the resources to, you know, produce these shows or art or whatever Black art it is. They kind of do it on their terms. So it's like, because I have the money, it's like, well, you should change this to my liking, when it's like, this isn't for you though. This is for Black people. Like, you know, so it's like, but because they're putting the money in there, they have the say on like what, you know, what should be said and what shouldn't be said. So true. Funny but real moment. Like, but yes.
How many times did my girl Radha knees crack this goddamn movie? My girl knees is like, girl, sit your ass down somewhere. Like, please take a rest of his mama. Have several seats. Like, when she met up with the dude from the Umoja theater, I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. The dude, the first dude she was trying to get to produce her play.
Yeah, and she he went to do something, I guess, to pray, and she went to like kneel down on her knees crack. And then in the room with her students, where they gave Elaine the role in that play. Yeah. Oh my God. Come to Be. That's the name of their play. We're gonna get into it, but she like kneeled down to like, you know, praise Elaine, and her knees cracked. And all her students is like, my goodness, girl, you need a compression sleeve.
Right.
Something.
You need some what is that, Bengay? Some icy hot.
Like, goodness. You need some motor oil on them bitches.
Yeah. Like when she left the studio after she missed her session, her trying to slam the front door and it being one of those doors that like closes like slowly.
Yeah, it has the arm on it.
She was trying to slam that bitch like.
Yes.
Oh, that's something I would do. Like, no, bitch, I'm slamming this bitch. I need to get this energy out.
It's crazy that she went for a second time.
Right.
And tried to slam it. And it still didn't slam. Yes. Like, even prior to that, like when she went to the apartment to work with D, she was going to sit on the couch and she tripped over Oh Boy's feet, like while walking to the couch. Instantly in that scene, it reminded me of you. Like as soon as she stumbled over Oh Boy's feet, I was like, this is some shit Damon would do. Like,
I'm mad because
definitely a Damon moment.
Why are y'all reading me? First, I got read for being a Taurus. Now I'm getting read for being clumsy.
My goodness.
I legit would have done that.
That was definitely like a Damon moment, but it was the little like, it's a little subtle shit like that makes this movie like really funny.
You know what also made me laugh? Like the little moment.
What?
When Archie, her friend, was walking down the street and he was talking to her, and I forgot what she said to him, but he was like, fuck you. And he was on the street, and the dude that passed him was he turned around and was like, what's up? Like, he just turned around. He was like, ew, not you. I would never fuck you. And just like the look on his face, I was like, yes. This is too funny.
He was being explicit with that old white man.
He was trying to get his friend on, though.
She didn't ask for it, though.
Sometimes you have to do things for people that they don't even know they need. You got to provide for people, and they don't even know they need it. No, you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have jiggled those jingle bells.
Absolutely not. I would have went to Jen the Pen from Love and Hip Hop New York first.
Why do you keep mentioning her?
She's white and she's on. So if I were to get put on, I'm going to Jen the Pen. Like, I'm not about to jiggle no wrinkle old balls. Like, no, bitch. If we want to get put on, we're going to Jen the Pen, and that's that.
Troy Cab Calloway Coleman, why do you keep mentioning Jen the Pen? Nobody knows who she is. Nobody knows who she is, sis.
She's on. Like, she said she's on. So if she's on, I'm assuming people know who she is. Like, if you don't know who Jen the Pen is, then that's your loss. Like,
I hate
you're
so
missing
much.
out. Like,
anyway, I would have thought about it. But I probably wouldn't have did it though. Cause
I feel you.
Ew.
Now if it was D, hell yeah.
D was fine. D was fine. I liked, D's his accent and his voice is very nice, but I like how they connected over, you know, their art or music
the
and
love of
their
music,
moms, and you know, I thought it was cool, and it didn't seem forced,
right.
you know, but
I didn't get. I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't expecting like their relationship to take like that turn, but I'm like, shit, they spent a lot of time. I kind of knew it was gonna take a turn when he grabbed her hand and kind of like dragged her into that venue. I was like, oh well, that's not really something that you would do if you was just making music. But I kind of got that feeling in. But I'm like, go for it, Radha. She said, are you beatboxing down there? I said, let me find out.
Listen, let me work on my rhymes so that I can get her at the, what is it called? Her at her the cipher.
Oh my God, yes.
And she got too high. She was like, yo. It was like
her rhyme, she mentioned something about sucking on somebody's sweet tit. So like walking up the stairs, oh, where it was like sucking on the sweet tit, like, oh shit, you fuck with girls.
She was like
take your ass upstairs. Get it on my face. But oh boy, before she goes on the stage to do her mom or whatever, oh boy offers her that blunt. And I'm like, don't take that damn blunt. And she's like, no, I'm good. And then he kind of just like forces it in her hand. I'm like, come on, Radha. Like, you know better than this. But she hits it and I'm like, shit about to go left. She gets on stage and she completely misses her mark. Like,
do you think he was trying to sabotage her or like?
Of course. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Like watching it the first time, I didn't notice anything, but like the second time I was like, I wonder, did he try to sabotage her? Like, but then I'm like, he wouldn't have really had a reason to sabotage her. Just because
I'm just thinking that it was kind of like to embarrass her. Like she's already, like I said, society will already be like, oh, she's old, like she's washed up, like why is this middle-aged lady rapping? That's how I kind of thought about it. Like he saw her as a joke, so here, take this. Why not go make a fool of yourself? And
but I also feel like,
I'm sorry, what were you about to say?
I just also feel like it's kind of common to like, if you smoking, you kind of pass it. Like, I don't know. Cause like that's what happened when she was hotboxing in the studio when she went for the first time.
Right.
Like, dude, he literally, well, he didn't trip over, she didn't trip over him, but she almost tripped over him and he still offered her the blunt. So
right.
Like,
right.
I don't know. I like how this movie leaves things ambiguous. But I don't know. I hope he didn't try to sabotage her, but he very well could have. Who knows?
I want to say that was the same dude that D went in on in the booth. Was that the same person? Okay, I kind of get the feeling that he was trying to sabotage her. Even that like when he was in the booth, it was.
That was the moment when
are you even rapping about?
I was like,
yes. I forgot about her initially walking into D's apartment and they been in them in their hot box, and like that apartment was so goddamn smoky. And it's crazy that the film was in black and white, and even through like the black and white grain, you could still tell that apartment was smoky as fuck. Like,
yeah, that weed is gonna be in her clothes for the next 3 months. Like that's how strong it was. But
you want to talk about a hot box? No Zoe from American Horror Story Coven. I ain't gonna throw a government out there, but we know. Well, if you watch American Horror Story Coven, you know Zoe had that hot box. Not that type of hot box.
Can we also talk about how 90s this movie was?
It really was
very 90s. Like just from, Spike Lee made a lot of. I feel like Spike Lee has made some notable movies in the 90s. So like I think if you borrow his aesthetic, people are gonna instantly think 90s. So I think it's that, and then I also think the black and white. I also think just like obviously hip hop didn't start in the 90s, but like it, started to mold and change in the 90s.
Right.
So like I feel like that's part of it. And like I noticed that a lot of the beats that he was playing or that he like played, a lot of the beats that he played were 90s beats. Like I feel like beats you would hear in the 90s. So I was like, that's cool. And then I also want to shout out I don't want to say it was a theme song, but the song that's in the very beginning and it's also in the trailer. It's called Electric Relaxation by Tribe Called Quest. That song is very 90s to me. Very 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that scene reminded me of like the Wayans brothers
It's
intro.
the theme song.
Okay, you did tell me that.
Yeah.
Like the first time I watched the movie and I saw her running to catch the bus and I heard the song, I was like, this gives me like a Wayans brothers for some reason. Mm-hmm. It was like her running to the bus, the shot of like the street, and then it was the music. I was like, I've heard this before.
I want to say the first 2 seasons of the Wayans brothers.
Okay.
That was the song that they played. And I was like, this is very 90s, very 90s, very 90s, early 2000s New York. Like, and I was like, I love it. Like,
and it's weird that this film, I feel like it wasn't purposely trying to give like that aesthetic. It was, well, I think they did, like, but I don't think like it's filmed in modern day, but watching it, you feel like you're kind of taken back to, like you said, like for me, I'm gonna say like early to mid 90s. And then it's weird because we kind of just reviewed a movie whose aesthetic was supposed to be set in the 80s and they missed the mark. We're not gonna go down that road, but the difference in between these two films, how one is supposed to be set in this time and then one is set in like the current 2020, but it looks like it's set in like the 90s.
This film was also,
I like that.
This film was also shot on film, I think 35 millimeter film.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So it looked better than Bad Hair. This isn't a roast bad hair review, but like, yeah, it like I feel like this looked like it was actually shot on film.
Yeah.
Versus like an effect. So but yeah, I thought it gave me a very 90s tea, and I enjoyed that.
Can we go back to the cipher real quick? Because remember the yo part? Rewatching it like the third time. So like her student said like she was being called frozen yogurt, like somebody called her frozen yogurt, and the other name was the human yo-yo.
That's what it was. I was trying to think of what it was.
I was like, I couldn't remember it, but yeah, they were calling her frozen yogurt and the human yo-yo. Like
a mess. That's funny.
Terrible.
I felt so bad. I was cringing up. And then she was like, Archie's here. Oh my God. Archie used to have a beard. Everybody was like, okay. It was like, like.
I also want to note that like every time after she had like a horrible like experience or like something like fucked up that happened, like she choked Jay Whitman, and then after the cipher, the next thing would be her like bawling, like literally breaking down. So like after she choked Jay Whitman out, the next thing was her eating those ribs while she was sobbing.
That's a mood. That was me at the beginning of the quarantine. Eating ribs and sobbing.
Yes.
Like,
and then like after the cipher, she went to Archie's apartment, and like the next thing she's like on his shoulder sobbing, like, Archie, I'm not a rapper. Why did I do this? Like,
I feel like he was a really good friend.
He was
about this movie. Like, I feel like he was very supportive, and I feel like he kind of walked the line of being supportive, but also not letting her, but also not being an enabler. I guess. Like when they were in his, I guess what's this right after? No, this was right before her premiere for the play. He was like, like they just like had an argument. He was like, I'm here for you, but like, I'm not gonna just like let you wallow in like self-pity. Like, you gotta do something. Like,
right.
Like, I'm here to like, I'm doing this because I care about you and I want you to succeed, but I'm not just gonna let you wallow in, sadness or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, she did call him like Oreo or whatever. Is that what they call Asian? What do they call Asian people that act white but are Asian?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know. You know what? We're not Asian, so let's not be offensive. But she basically called him like the Asian equivalent of an Oreo, and he was like, "Excuse me, like, bro, like, he got her together." But
my goodness.
But yeah, I thought he was a really good friend to her, and he was really supportive. So
they did have a really unique friendship. It's also weird that when she approached Archie like with the idea to become a rapper, and my first thought was, I'm like, oh shit, like here's that midlife crisis, like she's like having like a mental breakdown. And then she was like, you used to pay people or used to charge people to battle me. And I was like, oh shit, she might have some skill or she might be dope. But she started rapping. I was like, oh, like she can actually flow. Mind you, she was rapping about white man's butts.
White man with a black woman's butt. How you carry all that back there? What the fuck?
Can I also shout out the 2 white men that was caked up in this damn film?
Double cheeked up. When I tell you,
Facts. Thick misses in the building.
Thick misses in the building.
You
must be jelly because jam don't shake. Shout out to that one RuPaul song that I know. Like
when Radha was on the train and she was writing that rap, she was looking at that white man's butt and his girlfriend caught her like staring at his butt. For some reason, it reminded me of, I know you be staring at her fat ass. Hit that white man. Hey. My goodness.
Where I live, I see white men jogging all the time. And they like, not all of them, of course, but like some of them be having some fatties. And I'm like, damn, like, what's the workout regimen? Like, what's the diet looking like? Because I'm trying to be caked up too.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to spend the next quarantine alone. Like, what's good? Like, but yeah, it's funny that like when she was on the train and she made eye contact with the white girl, I thought she was looking at her like, girl, like, why are you trying to get with my man?
Right.
But it's funny that like in her rhyme, it was like, I'm ashamed. That's why I left. That's why I moved to the next cart, because I was embarrassed to be with a man with such a fatty.
Girl, what you embarrassed for?
What you embarrassed for?
Uncle Raheem would love him.
Right? Oh. Uncle Raheem and all his friends. Like,
Uncle Raheem and friends would love him.
Poverty porn. How'd you feel about that?
I honestly like that. I like the track. Like, it's funny because when she got in the booth, he was like, "You gonna come in on the 8th," and like a split second later, she just started rapping. I was like, "Well, damn!" Like, yeah. But she caught the beat and she just started flowing, and I was like, "It's weird." The first time after watching this movie, the first time, I think either the night after it was the night after. Like all I was quoting was, "I'm gonna write me some poverty porn." Like that's all I could stand was, "I'll write some poverty porn."
I like how they took, once again, like this movie does it a lot, where they take something that has meaning to it and like a conversation that like people have been having and like made it humorous, you know, like that is a trope. People seem to invest in Black pain and Black tragedy, and like that's a part of us and we're not denying that, but we also living good too. Like we also, you know, have some good moments. So I like how they took that and made it funny, and I thought the rap was hilarious. So, you know, and you know, you could see D, he was like,
yeah, he was feeling it.
Cause you know she paid for the session, so of course he would let her do what she do. But I don't think he was thinking she was gonna rhyme the ways that she rhymed.
Right. I kind of wanna talk a little bit about, I guess, what I got from the movie. This at the end of the movie, but at the end of her Harlem Ave play, Radha spit like a bar where she spit a rhyme. And the acronym was FYOV. It was Find Your Own Voice. Well, the acronym was FYOV, but she used a bunch of different, I guess, phrases to fill that. But mine was like find your own voice, or finding your own voice, or like having inner strength. Like that was it was one of the things that I found really interesting about this movie. Like she mentioned that she was still mourning the loss of her mom, and her career was pretty much stagnant, but I like the fact that she didn't let that defeat her. Like, you know, we talk a lot about grief and people grieving, you know, there's that word again, but we talked about how people grieve. And
in his house, our review of his house, we talked about grief.
Yeah, that's right. But man, what's I gonna say? I like how she didn't let that like defeat her. She didn't let that like bring her down. She also didn't let society be like, oh, like this 40-year-old, like watch the writers like trying to, you know, become a rapper. But Oh, that was my point, that people grieve differently. Like, you know, a death in the family is like super hard. So sometimes people turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms to kind of try to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I felt like her coping method was working with her students, like still writing like plays or whatever.
You think so? I thought it was more so rapping. To me, that's what I got, was more of a coping mechanism, was rapping and art, if that makes sense.
I could see that.
Actually, do you think she had a coping mechanism? I don't know.
That's kind of how I like want to interpret it, just because she did speak about, well, she spoke a lot about her mom passing and how she would be feeling. But I kind of took her working with students as like kind of like a coping mechanism, just because she has that talent. She's been in the theater, so she sees these students who have that same ambition or same aspiration. So instead of her wallowing, like Archie said, I'm not gonna let you wallow or be all depressed. Like, instead of just being in her own head, she's kind of giving back to the community. It sounds cliche, but she's giving back to students who share like the same interests as she does. Like, we know that goddamn play Come to Be was trash. Like, oat, spermy, and vagilla procreating, like, you know, that was trash.
Is this a play on sex ed? Like, I don't like. I was like, why did they go instantly to sperm and like procreation? And,
I have no idea what type of play this was.
Can they do this? Like, and I'm a theater kid. I'm a theater kid through and through, and I'm like, we talked about sex in our plays, but we ain't never been this deep about it.
Right, but the fact that she was willing to work with students, despite like her recently just losing her mom and her having like a stagnant career, like, I thought it was interesting. I thought that was cool, aside from like the comedy, that they were able to like kind of show her as, I'm stuck, but I'm not mentally stuck. Like, I kind of still have like my strength. Like, I still know who I am. She was going through so much, and still kind of trying to work on like rediscovering her voice, where she could have just been like, you know, fuck these. She could have put a Latina and been like, fuck them kids. But I thought that it was dope that she was still mourning the loss of her mom, and then she's kind of upset about her career not being where she wanted it to be, but she's giving back by working with kids who could potentially, you know, become the next Radha Blank. Like, I thought that was interesting.
I don't know. I felt like she was doing it just to get a check. No shade. Like, I felt like, you know, like, I mean, I think she cared about those kids and had formed relationships with them, platonic relationships, because we know how they got down.
Yeah, we saw Avery.
But I would have had to be like, you know what? Nope. No, I'm an adult. No, I am a grown man. No. But anyway, I felt like she was doing that to more so get a check.
Okay.
And I feel like her wanting to like, I think her trying to like do the rapping, I feel like to me that was more of like her trying to like bury her feelings into that, because her throughout the movie, her brother calls her and leaves voicemails like, hey, like, the people are gonna move mom's stuff. I'm gonna give you a couple more days to, you know, deal with what you're dealing with, and then we'll her stuff. So it was clear that she was avoiding that situation, which is interesting because she would talk about her mom, but she was avoiding her brother. So,
right,
you know, it was like, I guess she was willing to talk about it, but just not to him, because I guess he obviously knew her and like they have memories together. But I don't know. I feel like her coping mechanism to me was more so trying to make it, you know, trying to rap, trying to, you know, like trying to write a play. I think she was trying to put her energy into that because one, I feel like she wanted to make her mom proud. And, you know, I also feel like she took her mom's influence, you know, because her mom was also an artist. She kind of took that and kind of used it as a motivator to like really do what she wanted to do. So
that kind of sums up my my point. How at the end of the play, she said her mom raised her to be fearless, and then she said when her mom passed, she became afraid, which is why I kind of think that I said that she faltered when she decided to work with Jay Whitman, knowing that what type of person he was or what type of character he was. She kind of lost sight of like who she was or like the bigger picture. And then at the end of the play, she was like, she basically was like, I'm not gonna sell my soul for this shit. Like, I'm not gonna let you control my narrative. Just what to have a few $1,000s in my pocket. Like, no, it's not worth it. So I felt like it kind of reminded me of the Chappelle Show skit, the Rick James skit, where he was like trashing the couch and he was like, buy another one, you rich motherfucker. So I basically feel like that's what Radha said to like all those old people who were so invested in creating like plays based on like Black pain or Black tragedy. Like, because she even said it, fuck you old vultures. And as soon as she said that, that's what I put in my notes. Like, buy another one, you rich motherfucker. Like,
right.
Because you're not gonna buy this one.
Yeah, like just going back to like white, or I guess the white gaze of, you know, Blackness and Black art. It's not really authentic if you're funneling if you're funneling it through, you know, white people, their perception and their opinions. This isn't about them, it's about us. And you know, of course, white people should come through and watch, you know, things that are for us too. But like, I think that it's important to note who's driving this car. You know, is it a white person or is it a black person? Because we need it to be a black person, because we need black people to be in our stories. We need them, you know. And I think it goes back to I remember a couple years ago, there was a conversation about like having more Black writers and, you know, cinematographers and even PAs, just like more Black people behind the scenes instead of, you know, on screen, because, you know, some people thought that was just enough. You see yourself on screen, so that's that. And it's like, no, we need to see us behind the scene too, because that has an influence on what you see on screen. You know, so it's like, yeah, I could watch this movie and be like, oh, like I see a Black person like myself, but the situations or the things that they're saying may not be relatable to me, because it wasn't written by somebody who actually has the Black experience, you know? So yeah, I think this movie kind of poses that question of, do you stick to your guns and do you struggle and be true to yourself, or do you kind of, I guess, sell out, but now you got money, you know? And I also think that there's the option that Archie kind of raised in the movie, where he's like, well, you can kind of be fake and get in that way, you know, you can kind of sell out and then eventually turn over and do what you want to do. But, you know, I'm sure there are problems with that as well. So but yeah, I like how the movie kind of talked about it, and it didn't leave it like definite. It didn't make it easy for her. Like, I feel like, you know, because I thought at first like she was gonna not do the play and end up rapping, and like she was gonna go into rap and it was gonna be all peaches and cream. But no, it wasn't that. Like, she fucked up, and then she had to do the play, and then she did the play, and she was like, I'm not with this. And then you know, she went what she really wanted to do.
There's somebody right now who feels like, fuck, I don't know, I'm fucking 40, not even 40, I'm 35, and I'm like stuck working a job that I hate. And I feel like this movie, like I said, it's kind of empowering, because this movie kind of shows like, no matter what age you are, like if you have a goal, like chase that shit, like run after it. Like, don't let anybody kind of deter you or steer you away from like whatever dreams you have. Like, fucking go for it. Like, here Radha is like, is what society would call her. Even the interviewer, when he asked her about that damn Ida B. Wells play, who told you that? But he was like, you felt like you were irrelevant for like 10 years. So like, I mean, you may feel like, oh, I'm not good enough for this job, or I want this job, but I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I want to do this, but I don't have a certain skill. fucking go for it. This movie depicts that so well. Even with like Radha, how she approached Elaine about her, I guess her having like the crush on Rosa. Instead of Radha being like, oh, you're too young to go for that. Maybe go talk to somebody. Maybe it's just a phase. She's just like, no, like, this is you. Like, if this is who you are, like, then be true to yourself. Even at the end of the play, she said something about being afraid of who you should be or who you really are. And I was just like, that just summed the movie up like so well. But you fucking got a dream, well, chase after that shit.
Yeah, I mean, age ain't nothing but a number. I feel like as long as you have breath in your body, you can do whatever you want to do. I guess her talking to her student, what was the black girl's name?
Elaine.
Her talking to Elaine was like, her telling Elaine to go for it was similar to what she did. Like, hey, I went for it,
Right.
So can we talk about how, what was the Latin girl's name?
Rosa.
She looked over. She's like, "Is that me?" And she looked over at Elaine, and Elaine was just like,
like, boom, boom, scary shit.
Right? Elaine was just like
she like, girl, back up.
Like, she had literally been staring at her for like the past 20 minutes, and she just turned around like,
I thought the child from his house had came back for a minute. I'm like, girl, girl, get your ass back to motherfucking
London.
London.
Manchester.
London. London. Why you told me you live at Manchester? Yes, I waited so long to make that goddamn connection. Yes.
But no, like I thought it was a cute moment. I didn't really notice it till the end. But watching it a second time, I noticed that like she was kind of looking at her like, and I was like, oh, I guess she does like her, and that's why they got into it, and but they didn't show them getting together, but I like to think that they got together.
Yeah. Especially like since Elaine seems to be almost kind of like, I don't know, a hard ass almost.
Yeah.
It would be interesting, or not interesting, but it would definitely be it would be interesting to see, like, I don't know, a teenage African American girl and then like young Hispanic lady together.
Come on, 2020 Romeo and Juliet. Right? Come on, 2020 West Side Story.
Like 2020's Titanic.
Yes.
My goodness. Titanic, no iceberg.
Can we talk about how they was on the girl Radha? They were. Everybody wanted to pee.
Rosa, Avery, D,
the homeless man that was across
I forgot
the
about
street.
The homeless dude.
Like,
that nigga was funny as hell. But yes, everybody wanted to piece of my girl Miss Blank. Like,
everybody. I don't blame them. I don't.
I don't.
Speaking in terms of looks, because we love to know looks. I really liked her outfit for the premiere of her play.
I did too.
I thought it was cute. And then we got to see her her hair for the first time. She didn't have a wrap on, but I was like, this is cute.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
the finger waves and the fit. Like,
I also really like the moment when she's on the bus, or not the bus. She's on the train. And she sees the older woman, and she gives her a nod, like, go ahead, girl. Wherever you going, you better give it to her. I thought
that was really cute. Yeah, I did peep that. I thought that moment was like really cute because like the older lady gave her like the head nod, like, go get your man, girl.
Go ahead.
Go get your man.
Like,
but it's weird because there's a scene right before that I thought was like also really cute. But it's at the end of the Harlem Ave play where Radha and Archie, they make amends, and Radha's like, I got some business to take care of. So Archie's like, oh, and Radha's like, So Archie's like, So and then Radha's like, so like the exchange back and forth. I was like, I thought that's like really cute.
Like, you better got you a right. He pulling up, like, yes, girl.
That's definitely me. Like when one of my friends tell me like, oh, I'm like, if I was go chill like my nigga or hang with my nigga, I'm like,
you better better get you a Chuki from Brooklyn. Yes. I just thought their relationship was cute. I enjoyed it.
There were a lot of I don't want to say like cute relationships, but I did like I like Radha's interactions with her students, and then I loved her friendship with Archie, just because like they had been friends for like I think since like high school. They even showed a picture of them at the prom together. I was like, oh, like okay, so like I just love their friendship. Like he kind of seems almost kind of neurotic, and she's kind of, I don't know. You would think that she would be like the kind of neurotic one.
I feel like it was because he was her agent, yeah, and so it's like kind of his job to like keep her on track. So I feel like that's where that was, and then also, you know, she lost her mom, so she's obviously dealing with that versus him being on the outside looking in, trying to get her to, do what she wanted to do or do what she wanted to do, I guess. So, but yeah, I thought their relationship was dope. I mean, it made me think of like some of the relationships I have, like some of the friendships I have, and I'm like, oh, I could definitely see that, where it's like, you get on my damn nerves, but I love you, and I obviously I'm gonna do what I can to see you succeed, but yeah. So
can I also shout out the Queen of the Ring girls real quick?
Yes, let's talk about Queen of the Ring.
They first of all, I wasn't expecting them to pull up to a fucking Queen of the Ring venue. Like,
I thought they were gonna be at a party.
I did too.
And so I thought it was gonna be similar to what they did at the Cypher, where it was just like a bunch of like, people just rapping in a circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I once they like showed the ring, I was like, then they showed Babs. I was like,
yeah, showed the girl Babs, the first lady in the streets, Babs Bunny.
Yes.
Like,
I was like,
yes, I thought that was dope as fuck. Like,
yeah.
For those that don't know, me and Damon are like very huge like Queen of the Ring fans.
Big
like
fans, yeah.
I think we've been Queen of the Ring fans for like over 8 years now, like 8-9 years. But it was just dope to see them like finally getting like more mainstream recognition.
Right.
Like, of course they have their following, but like for them to be featured on like a platform like Netflix is huge.
Right.
So I just want to shout out the girl Babs, and then I want to also shout out the rappers that made cameos in this film. So there was my girl Shuni the rapper.
Yes.
Absolutely love Shuni.
Yes.
My girl Norma Bates.
Yes.
Misfit. And then like a new girl, I think her name is like Misunderstood. I think her name was Misunderstood. So at first I thought we were gonna get like a full battle, like 3 rounds each. I was like, wow, that's gonna extend a movie. But then I'm like, they might just do like one.
Why would you think they would do a full battle in the middle of a Netflix film?
It was a movie about like a female who wanted to rap, a female rapper. So I'm like,
yeah, but it's not about them like, who wants to rap. It's about her. I just instantly
thought that they were gonna do like a full battle. I don't know. Why,
no, yes. Again, listen. Wow, I'm gonna have to question your thought process on that. Because as soon as they showed them, I'm like, okay, they're gonna do a little snippet. Like everybody gonna do a little snippet. Like,
yes, but yeah, I don't know, for some reason I thought they were gonna do a full battle, but it was just dope to see them on the TV screen.
Who would you have liked to have seen?
40 bars, just because Radha's 40, that would have been interesting. But either 40 or well, not just because Radha's 40, but 40 is one of my favorite female battle rappers. 40 or Farrah.
Okay.
40 or QB. Actually, I'll take that back. Don Lady. I would have I feel like Don Lady is the embodiment of this goddamn movie. Like, Don Lady would have been perfect for for like that scene. She's basically the female version of D. All that goddamn aggression, hostility. Like, pump your damn brakes, Quatisha.
The more you talk, the more I am confusion. I didn't get aggression from Radha. I didn't get aggression at all.
No, I meant like aggression from D. Did I say Radha? I meant she's aggressive like D.
Oh, okay.
Don Lady is aggressive.
No, I would have chose I would have said Couture or E Hart.
Okay.
That's who I would have wanted. But maybe Tori Doe. Maybe. Okay.
I'm thinking about that wig she had on her last battle.
But yeah, it was nice to see them. Like I was not expecting that, and to see, you know, like these are women that rap and they battle rap, and we know about them. Like I was here for it. I really enjoyed it.
Also, shout out to Young and May for making a cameo. She was
Yeah,
working with Oh Boy, and it's weird because I guess he was like asking her for like more range or like more emotion, but she wasn't giving that. So I'm like, it was just weird. Like I think it was the second time after he met. No, it was when he got the flyer that Radha's Harlem Ave play was going to be produced, and he was asking like young inmates to give him like, I guess, more emotion or more range, and she was lacking. I was like, homeboy, like this play is gonna be stale as fuck.
Right.
But yeah, shout out to her for making a cameo in a stage play. Like
she was like, does your ancestor say anything about paying me? Because
I have an Aunt Karen and I know she wants my rent paid.
Right. She's like, why don't you ask my ancestors? Because you ask yours. I know yours don't give a fuck about me. So like, let's ask mine. Because I think
what I've been thinking about all fucking night when she first went to like meet with him, and he had like that steamer blowing. I think it was like humidifier, and she's like, "What's in that? Is it like patchouli? Let me get a little bit of that." And then she started choking. I've been thinking about that shit like all fucking day. Like
she's so fucking funny.
Like this movie was just hilarious.
He gave me an incense kind of person. Like,
you know me with the incense. Hit that bitch lit like we was frying chicken.
I'm like, my eyes like a motherfucker. Can we crack a window?
Yes.
Like, yeah, I think the movie really kind of depicted like the plight of a Black artist and wanting to stay true to themselves, or not even just a Black artist, but just like somebody who offers a unique or a story based on the minority, and like people that are the majority trying to come in and kind of mold it to what they want it to be, to fit their entertainment. And it's like, but this isn't for you, and it doesn't need to be for you. It should be for the people that it's for, you know?
Right.
So it's like the idea of kind of funneling Black art through whiteness and making it palatable for white people. But it's like, you should just be able to watch it and enjoy it. It shouldn't need to, like, you should need to see yourself in it. There shouldn't need to be a white character in her play.
Right.
Because it's a story. Like, you know, Black people and like other people of color watch white films all the time and can identify with those characters based on what they're going through. But it just seems like for some reason, white people, it's almost like they feel like they always have to have somebody in there to like, you know, to relate. And it's like, you don't need to be in this to relate. Like, so.
You know what? There's one more other thing that kind of just like hit me floored. I was like laughing so goddamn hard. It's when the actresses, I think the Black actress and the white actress for Harlem Play Ave, and they were, I think, acting out the scene, and the Black actress is like, "Tain't nothing wrong with my damn perspective." When I tell you that shit had me screaming, like literally in my room screaming.
She was like,
I've been saying that shit all day.
She was like, why do I have to talk like why does my character talk like this? And then she was like, well, why don't you marinate on that and then we'll get back to you. I was like,
yeah, she was like, my character is like the only person that's talking like this. And she was like, well, she's trying to convey something to her husband. She's like, I know what she's trying to say. Well, why is she saying it like that?
Yeah. And she's like, well, because she's older. She's like, she's 35. Like,
I know. What I meant to say was she's deep rooted with a mystical Southern charm. Do you understand? No, I don't understand.
And no shade, but white woman, why are you talking? This has nothing to do with you. Right? Like, why are you like interjecting? Like, because I know you just about to pull something out your ass to justify it. Like, let the writer speak. Let her say what she meant to say. So, yeah. But yeah, it was a solid movie. I really enjoyed it. It was funny, relatable. It had some deep meaning to it. And yeah, shot well as well.
Yeah, it was shot really well. It's funny. Like you said, it does tackle like the do you stay stagnant, or do you sell out to get to your next move or to get to your next position? So that was covered. I thought it was done really well. This movie and His House were really good movies. So yes, everybody, round of applause for Damon for picking 2 great movies for us to review. Yeah, overall, I really like this movie. It was funny as hell. Like, I love a good comedy, but aside from the comedy, I thought that it did a really good job of tackling like issues that people deal with on a daily basis, like mourning the loss of a parent or a loved one, working a job and you're just like, oh, I'm stuck. Like, when is my next move gonna be? Or like, so this was a very relatable movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a nice watch. It's pretty short. It's like an hour and a half. Yeah, and it's funny.
No, it's actually I think 2 hours.
Is it 2 hours? Oh,
I think 2 hours. Yeah, like 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Oh, it flew by for me.
Yeah, so it's enjoyable.
Enjoying it. It flies by, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I think most people would enjoy it. It's a nice watch. Definitely watch it. If you just decided to, listen to our review before watching it, you can go back and watch it and still key on it. It's still funny. But yeah, that was our review for 40-year-old version 2020.
Yes.
That is now on Netflix. And yeah, do you have any last words concerning 40-year-old version?
No. Oh, actually, I just wanted to ask, did you have a favorite side character?
Favorite side character. I don't know. I guess I would probably say the woman in the in the jazzercise suit.
Yeah,
she just seems so positive and just so like full of life and like but wise and but also like youthful, like carefree. So I thought she was cool. I also like Rosa. I don't know. I liked how she was like super caring of Radha for some reason. Like I just like how she was like, she really cared about her, I guess. So
okay. Yeah, one of mine would be the older lady on the street in the jazzercise, the jogging suit. And that
joggers.
Yes, yes. And that now infamous 1990s damn jogging suit. Because everybody in their mama had that damn jogging suit in the 90s. But
and the cap that had the brim on it.
Yes. But it would be either her or the homeless guy that that tormented Radha. Like but I kind of brought that up to talk about this scene. I forgot to mention it earlier, but when she was walking, where she was on her way to her Harlem Ave plane, and she brought the homeless guy, Radha brought the homeless guy a sandwich. And she's basically telling him about like she feels like a sellout, how she doesn't like to play. So he finishes the sandwich. It was like, oh, so I'm just supposed to direct you in the right direction now? You brought me a fucking sandwich and I'm just supposed to be your savior? Like, and not only that, he was like, instead of him just being thankful for the sandwich, he was like, and the next time, why don't you put some mayo on both sides of this dry ass bread? And I'm thinking, sir, there won't be a next time with that attitude. Like, definitely won't be a next time.
He said, this shit is dry as fuck. It's ripping up my fucking throat.
Right.
Like,
he's trying to kill me the slow way.
Right.
My man must have thought he was eating a Popeye's biscuit.
Right.
My goodness.
Right. That was too funny. But yeah, we really enjoyed watching this movie. It was hilarious. Stay tuned for more reviews. We'll come out with one in the following week. And yeah, like if you laughed, if you keyed with us, comment if you had some opinions on the movie, whether you agreed with our opinions or you have your own opinions or you agree with our opinions, and subscribe if you want to see more reviews from us, if you want to see more analysis. And you made it all the way through this video, so you might as well subscribe. Like, if you made it through our nonsense, then you probably want to subscribe. Like, come on.
Yeah. So, stay with the foolishness.
Yeah.
Not so much the fucking, but just come hang and stay around for the foolishness.
Stay for the key and tolerate the carry.
Yeah.
So yes. So yeah, we'll see y'all in the next one.
Yes.